Yesterday, I got some insight into some stuff yesterday, talking to some people in the know in the Rockets organization. And, we've been talking about Steven Silas. And I'm going to say this. I just think that the organization is going to, when you have an offensive coach, this happens in football. This happens in, not baseball so much, but this happens in football and probably a lot more than we know of in basketball, because there are guys that are. Steven Silas was an offensive specialist.
Yeah.
Right? Steven Silas is not a disciplinarian. Steven Silas is a player's. And
I think Steven Silas is a bench coach who's good at what he does bench coach. Some guys are coordinators, and I think more than likely, not everyone has the personality to be a head coach or general manager. It's hard. There's a certain amount of confrontation you have to be willing to have. I don't think that's him. That's him. There's a lot of people who confrontation isn't. No. And you've got to have.
We're going to have Bob Huggins in here. Do you think that Bob Huggins would just go, it's okay, with what the.
No, not at all. I was listening to, who was it that said the key? No, it wasn't. There was somebody really famous who's very good that I was listening to just recently who said, it was Kelvin Sampson told us this on the show. Yeah. He said the key to creating a culture is not being afraid of confrontation. You cannot be afraid of confrontation.
And Kelvin Sampson never is. See, and so I think, when you have a guy like this, and listen, I don't know. I mean, I'm not this is not from Tillman, but I don't think Tillman is going to be afraid of Ime Udoka. I don't think Tillman is going to be afraid to fade whatever criticism, whatever issue Ime Udoka has.
That's what I was talking about yesterday.
Tillman is a billionaire, and he ain't going to be scared.
Now, unless something comes out, like you said.
Yeah.
We talked about this yesterday. To me, you were worried about it, and I said, let's role play it. And all he's got to do is I'm focused on the Rockets.
Well, yeah, but if it does come out, that's a different story.
That's something different. Yeah. If some specifics come out, that's something different.
Yeah, but I can see they're going to be on guys, and there are candidates out there, guys who are not. Frank Vogel is a name.
Uh-huh.
Frank Vogel.
I like Frank Vogel.
Frank Vogel is a hell of a coach. Frank Vogel has pelts. Frank Vogel is a guy who is going to expect and have guys be accountable. Ime Udoka is going to be like that too. There's a name in Kenny Atkinson is a name that you should look at.
Yeah, got Rockets ties.
Yeah, got Rockets ties, and he's a Golden State guy right now. He's under Steve Kerr as an assistant.
He's been mentioned in the past
as a guy.
As a guy that would make some sense.
These are some names that whispers that I'm hearing out of a place in the organization anyway. So these are names that you're going to have to look at. I know this. They are going to emphasize defense a hell of a lot more.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
They're disgusted with this not lack of effort, but lack of ability, quite frankly, or lack of accountability.
But there's some effort too.
There's effort.
Effort is about focus also. It's not just hustle. Effort means you're mentally locked in. Your attention span is where it needs to be.
It's not. Listen. Did you watch the Clippers game the other night? Who they play? Memphis the other night. It was a 141 to 132 or something like this in a regular season and in a non-overtime game.
Yeah,
regulation game. And you're like, this is bad basketball. It's bad.
It's not.
And that's Rockets basketball right now. It's
bad.
There's
no. And if you see scores that high, instead, some people are just thinking that's the skill of today's basketball. That's a lack of intensity.
It's a lack of intensity.
That's a severe lack of intensity.
It means you're not. Yeah, because there are plenty of games that even with good offensive teams that they're holding them to 105.
Because they're not getting great look. They're not getting easy looks.
Yeah, because they're not. Yeah, and you're closing out. I mean. Listen, there are guys in this rotation right now that are going to be bench players. They're not satisfied. Exactly what we talk about here, bringing in veterans, they're going to do that.
Well, you have to.
And you know I'm going to tell you this. You're going to hear a lot of noise about Jaylen Brown.
Good. You
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
You should.
You should.
That's the guy that you should be hearing about.
That's
Perfect.
That's the guy.
Because he's a star level player. It's the same as Harden when Harden was only Harden was younger, but earlier in his career. But Harden was like behind Westbrook and also obviously Durant. But Daryl Morey thought Harden had star level ability, which he did. Brown is already an all-star. I mean, he's not like he's tucked away, but he's behind Tatum.
And he wants out of Boston.
Yeah, I think he wants out of the shadow, and he wants to be his own guy.
No, he wants out. He doesn't like Bostonians.
Well, yeah, that's some of it too. Obviously,
Yeah.
He's made that clear.
Yeah, he's made that very clear. So he does not. And so he's going to be out there, and there's going to be a lot of money freed up. There's going to be a lot of money freed up after this season. So you can expect the Rockets are going to move in a different direction, and in large part the direction I think a lot of us, including you guys, you've talked about. Got to bring in some veteran presence. This young team is just they need some guidance. They need some leadership. They need a disciplinarian coach. They need a guy who's going to hold them accountable, and they need some veteran presence in there that's going to teach them how to be pros. Because you're not always going to listen to the coach. You need to learn how to be a pro, and these guys are not that. So those are some names I think to look for as the Rockets look. Steven Silas, if you were all the people that were like, oh no, they won 3 in a row, we got to keep Steven Silas. That ain't happening.
No, good. It shouldn't.
No,
he's had his opportunity. The team, you can't just do a late push to try to. No. We're playing hard for Steven. Here, say something. Where people say it. No. You didn't play hard enough for him.
No.
You didn't get stops when you needed to. You blew it constantly in the fourth quarter. Steven Silas is clearly
not defending.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for Steven because I think he felt like, hey, look, I'll do whatever I can to try to keep it. Steven, you deserve better than this. You deserve better than the effort you got from this. This is the truth. Steven Silas deserved better effort than what he got from
Steven Silas
his players.
is going to be a career offensive assistant coach.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but Steven Silas does not have the grit to be an NBA head coach because of the confrontation thing.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of accountability that he has for his players. He just can't. It's not his personality.